Hello and a very good afternoon to all of you. My name is Vibhor Jain and working as an assistant professor at Suresh Kyanvia University in ISBM department. Today we are going to talk about financial accounting. Okay, and since all of you know that accounting is a practical subject, and so I'm going to use a writing pad. So I'm going to write a lot of things, and also I'll use this PPT method of teaching. I hope you guys are comfortable with it, and I hope you guys like the method of teaching. So first of all, we are going to talk about financial accounting. What is financial accounting? Right. So when we talk about financial accounting, you have to understand a few basic things. Okay, then how it works. So the first thing that we will talk about is what is the need. Okay, what is the need to prepare the accounts. Okay, that is the first thing that comes to mind. Ki hai na? Ki bhai, why are we preparing accounts? That is the first thing. Second is how we prepare accounts. How we prepare accounts. Okay, so the first thing that we will talk about is what is accounting, or what is the need for accounting. First, I'll explain what is the need, and then I'll explain what is the meaning of accounting, so that we can link both the things. Ki whatever we needed was supplemented by accounting. Okay, so just understand a situation. I'll give you an example. Try to understand the example. Let's assume this is a company. This is a company. Let's say A Limited. This is a company, and the company wants to expand to other cities. The company wants to diversify their business and enter into new market and into new product. They want to launch a new product range and everything. So for all these things, the company requires funds. The company require funds. Company को पैसे का requirement होता है. Okay. Now what does the company do for this? The company has a lot of options, and then what we call this in our financial management is source of capital. What are the sources that are available for the company, so using which so that company is able to raise the funds that it requires. So there are various sources of capital. Okay, and it can be classified into two parts: internal and external. Internal and external. So internal sources means the funds that are already available with the company, and external sources, we mean the fund that is being raised from outside the organization. For example, if I talk about loan, if I talk about debentures, these are the sources of external sources of capital, external sources of finance, which are available for the company. When I talk about internal sources, okay, so internal means owner, the fund that is contributed by the owner. And here we talk about two things: shares and retained earning. Shares and retained earning. So I'll explain how share work. Okay, I'll explain how share work, and from this is one of the example. This is one of the uses of financial accounting, and with this example, I'm going to explain how financial accounting is process, how accounts are maintained. Okay, so this is a company. I'll continue the example. This is a company, and the company wants to expand their business. The company wants to launch new product, and for that the company requires funds. Okay, so company has so many sources. So company can go to a bank, but that is the option that is available. Company can go to a bank and ask for loan. That is an option. Okay, that is an option. And company can ask for loan. Ki, sir, I need some loan. Okay, or the other option is company can go to public, and company can ask for shares. Hey, sir, please purchase the share of my company. So what does the word share mean? It means that the company is divided into small subparts. For example, 4 shares. 1, 2, 3, 4. A company is divided into 4 shares. So these shares will be sold to different individuals, like 1, 2, 3, 4. X, Y, W, and Z. Okay, so Mr. Y is going to contribute the company, the owner of the company, Mr. A Limited. He's going to say, if you want to become the shareholder of this part, if you want to own 25% holding of the company, you have to give me some money. You have to purchase this part. You have to purchase this part, for which Mr. Y will pay the money, and Mr. Y will pay the money, and this share will belong to Mr. Y. This share will be given to Mr. Y. Same way, this portion 25%, this will be given to Mr. Z, and in return Mr. Z will give the money to the company. So what is going to happen is, from the point of view of the company, money, a lot of money, a huge amount of money is going to come in the business. And what is going to go out of the business? Shares. Company has divided the company into small parts, and those parts are being owned by Mr. X, Y, Z, and so on. Are you getting what I'm saying? So what the whole point is, the crux is that people, the public, they have invested their fund in the company. Public has invested the fund in the company. Okay, and since they have already invested the funds in the company, it is the liability of the company, it is the responsibility of the company to provide the investors, some information. What information about the performance of the company, information about the performance of the company. Okay, how is the company going on, how is the performance of the company? It is their fundamental liability, fundamental duty. For example, if just let's take a very small example. When you were studying in school, right, your teachers, they used to send a report card. They used to send a report card to your parents. Why are they sending the report card? They're sending the report card because they want to explain the performance of the student, the performance of the ward, to the parents. Ki, sir, this is what is going on, the performance is increasing, decreasing, whatever is happening. They want to communicate to the parent what is the return on their investment. If they're giving the teachers, giving the school some funds, what is the return of that investment? All right. So same way, it is the liability of the company, it is the responsibility of the company. The company is going to communicate the information regarding the performance of the company to the public. Why? Why ऐसे क्यों कर रही है company? Why are they doing it? So there are two reasons why a company does it. The question is why? Why is the company communicating the performance? First is क्या है? Company wants to attract new investors. Company wants to attract new investor. What this means is that since the company is inviting funds from public, so when the next time company needs some funds, there should be people who are readily available. Yes, sir, I want to purchase a share of your company. So that the company wants, what the purpose is, the company wants to build a good image. The company wants to build a brand value. The company wants to build a good image so that whenever the company requires funds next time, the funds are available readily and people want to invest in the company. Second क्या है? Second is to retain current investment, or to retain current investors. If I'm being very appropriate, to retain current investors. Okay, to retain current investors by people who have already invested the funds. For example, in our example, X, Y, Z, and there's no X, Y, Z, W, or Z. Also, Z I've taken two times. Okay, X. Let's say this is X. So X, Y, Z, and W. We want these people to stay invested in my company. For let's take an example. If there are two companies in the market, Airtel and Jio, and Mr. X has invested in Airtel, and Airtel is giving him a return of 10%, and Jio is Jio is giving you a return of 15%. So what is Mr. X going to do? Mr. X is going to sell the investment in Airtel and he's going to purchase the share, or he's going to make the investment in Jio. Of course, that makes sense, right? If he knows that both the companies are in the same sector and both the companies are providing different return, so the company that is providing high return is going to be selected by the investor. That is but obvious. Are you getting it? So the company wants to retain current investors and the company wants to attract new investors. Okay, so that whenever we require funds in the future, the funds are readily available and people are willing to invest in my company to give their funds to me. And in return, I'll make them the owner of the company. By I'm giving you the share of the company, that means I'm making you the owner of the company. And that is why we need accounting. That is why we need accounting. What is accounting? Accounting is the report. Accounting is the report of performance of the company. Okay, whatever has happened in the past year, that is going to be communicated to the shareholders, that is going to be communicated to the stakeholders, communicated to the stakeholders. Now, what is the meaning of stakeholders? Stakeholder means anybody that has some stake, that anybody that has some interest in the company. It can be shareholders, it can be loan providers and banks. But they are interested in the company because they want to know what is the profit of the company. Is the company capable to repay the EMI? Will the company be able to repay the interest? Okay, so the loan people who are giving us loan, example banks, they are also interested in the accounts of the company. Government, why government is also interested? Why is government interested? Why? Because whatever profit you're going to earn in the company, you are going to pay tax, and the government wants to make sure that you are paying the exact or the appropriate or the actual amount of tax that you are supposed to pay. So for that, they're going to make sure that your books, that your accounts that you prepare, that are good, they are fair. Okay, and that is that government is also interested because you're paying them the tax. And similarly, there are a lot of people who are interested in the accounts of the company. Okay, this is just a small introduction of accountancy, and now I'm going to move on to the next topic, that is some basic terms. We are going to talk about some basic terms related to accounts. ठीक है? Okay, are you getting what I'm saying? कि भाई हम कुछ books बनाएंगे, we are going to make some books, we are going to make some report, and we are going to communicate the report to the stakeholders so that they know about the performance of the company. Okay, now we are trying to explain to you, I'm trying to explain what is accountancy. There are certain terms that are used in accountancy. ठीक है? Okay, so Alex, we'll explain all the terms. All this that I'm talking about, this has already been covered in the previous lecture, so you can go and visit that lecture. Now, this was a brief introduction, a brief revision kind of a. Now I'm moving on to the new topic. Chali, let's go. So the first thing that we talk about is this. Okay, so the first thing, financial accounting. The first thing that we're talking about is accounting equation. So there is a basic accounting equation that is complied with in all the transactions. Just think about it. Okay, I'll just give you a few examples, and you are going to understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I have to go back to this. Yes. So when I'm talking about the basic accounting equation, the basic accounting equation is asset is equal to liability. The basic accounting equation is asset is equal to liability. Huh? A liability is further classified into two parts, that is capital, and the other part is capital or loan or liability. Okay, this is the classification. Let us talk about this for 1 second. So when I'm talking about assets, I'm going to explain what are assets. Abhi in 10 minutes, I'm going to explain what are assets in sufficient detail. But for now, we can understand assets are the property. Okay, the property of the organization. For example, land, building, plant and machinery, debtor, creditor, cash, bank balance, all these things are the assets of the company. And liability means, okay, liability means the burden that we have. Okay, and along with that, it also means that what we have to pay to someone else. So that is liability. Okay, so assets and liability. So what the basic thing that we consider over here is, see, this is a businessman. This is a businessman. Okay, funky here. This is a businessman, and this is the business. This is Mr. A, and this is A Limited. So what's going to happen is Mr. A is going to introduce some funds. If Mr. A wants to start some business, so Mr. A is going to introduce some funds in the business. So these funds can come from two sources, like I explained before also. These funds can come from two sources. One is his own funds. Mr. A is going to introduce some funds from his own pocket, and some is going to go to the bank and get some loan, and he's going to introduce that money. So own funds, matlab owner funds, we can also say owner fund. Sorry, and this is loan or this is liability. So these are the sources of funds. So this is going to be the inflow. I hope you're getting what I'm saying. This is the inflow. From where is the fund coming in the business? The fund can come in the business through two sources. One is liability. Okay, see, I have written over liability, loan, and other is own fund. This that is called capital. When we are talking accountancy jargon or accountancy language, we call that capital. Capital is the fund that is introduced by the owner of the company. For let's say 10 lakh rupees is introduced in the business, out of which 6 lakh rupees was introduced by the owner, okay, and 4 lakh rupees was introduced via a loan or something. So I can say that my total liability is 10 lakh rupees. I'm talking from business point of view, right? From business point of view, the liability of the business is 10 lakh rupees. That is 6 lakhs I owe to the Mr. A or to the owner. That is called capital. All right. And 4 lakh rupees I owe to the bank. This is internal liability, this is external liability, but both of these are liability. So through these sources, rupees 10 lakh was introduced in the business. Now what am I going to do? So, I have 10 lakh rupees, so I am going to purchase some plant. Okay, I'm going to purchase a piece of land. I'm going to purchase some, what do you say, raw material and everything, and I'm going to leave some money deposited in my bank account so that whenever I need, I have some funds readily available at my disposal, and so many other things. Okay, I'm going to purchase a printer, I'm going to purchase an AC, I'm going to build a building. Okay, so I can say plant I purchased for 2 lakh rupees, land for 2 lakh rupees, raw material 2 lakh rupees, bank 2 lakh rupees, and building 2 lakh rupees. So this is the outflow. This is the outflow. Okay, I hope it is clear to everyone. So what I mean to say is, okay, students, what I mean to say is that the business is always in the center, and on this side it is liability, and on this side, right hand side, it is assets. What this means is, these are the sources of funds or inflow, and these are the disposal of funds or outflow. Okay, so my inflow was 10 lakh rupees. My inflow was 10 lakh rupees. 6 lakh from the businessman, Mr. A, and 4 lakh on from the loan. And what I did was, the business got 10 lakh rupees. And what I did was, I used this fund, or I invested this fund in buying a lot of assets. Okay, land, building, plant, machine, etc. etc. This is how the business works. Okay, and for the purpose of accountancy, we call this credit. This is called credit, and this is called debit. This is called credit, and this is called credit. So if somebody asks you what is debit and credit, you say, sir, debit and credit are used to represent the dual aspect, the dual nature of any business transaction. Okay, and we'll talk about a business transaction later on. This is the accounting equation. This is the accounting equation, and all the entries, all the transaction, all the events that take place in the business satisfy these transactions. I'll take an example. For example, let's say, and whenever I say I'm talking from business point of view. I am the accountant of business. So whenever I'm talking about something, I'm talking from business perspective. Okay, you have to keep this point in mind. So what the point here is, and the point here is that yes, what do you say? Yes, for example, let's say I need to purchase a mobile phone. I need to purchase a mobile phone for my business. I need to purchase a mobile phone. So I purchase iPhone 12 Pro Max, whatever. Okay, I purchase a mobile phone. Now there are two ways I can purchase a mobile phone. There are two ways. One, I can purchase on cash, and on other I will purchase on credit. So I'm taking this example to make you understand or to explain the accounting equation and how the accounting equation is maintained in all the entries, in all the transaction, all the events. Okay, so I'm taking a very small example of mobile phone. You can purchase stock, you can purchase land, building, whatever you do. Okay, both the things are going to be affected. I'll explain how. So first, I'm talking about this cash. I'm going to write the accounting equation, and then going to explain how it is maintained. So asset is equal to liability. This is my accounting equation. All right. So mobile phone is my asset. But if I have a good mobile phone, it is my asset. I can use that mobile phone to conduct my business, to take my calls, to send my emails, and all those things. You understand this, right? ना तो हम सब समझते हैं. Okay. So cash, and if I purchase the mobile phone for cash, let's say the price of the mobile phone is 1,20,000 rupees. So if I purchase for cash, what is going to happen? I'll go to the shopkeeper and I'll say, sir, I want to purchase a mobile phone. So I will take the amount. Okay, whenever we're talking, this is gold coin. Just assume that this is a gold coin. So whenever I'm going to purchase a mobile phone, what is going to happen? Just assume what is going to happen. I'm going to take the money out of my pocket. I'm going to take the money out of my pocket. I'm going to give this money to the shopkeeper. The cash is going out of the business. Okay, and in return I'm going to get a mobile phone. In return I'm going to get a mobile phone. Are you getting? So cash is going to go out of the business. So cash is going to be negative. It is going out of the business. Okay, so 120 is going to go out of the business, and I'll get an asset. I'll get a mobile phone worth rupees 1,20,000 rupees. So net effect is zero. So accounting equation is always maintained. So if you understand and if you take this example, this is a weighing scale, right? We all know this is a weighing scale. So what I mean by this is, if there is some addition on the asset side, so either there is going to be an equal addition on the liability side as well, or there's going to be some subtraction from the asset side. Okay, so if I'm talking from this point of view, so the net effect is zero. So accounting equation is maintained. Okay, I hope you guys are getting what I'm saying. All right, now I'm going to talk about this credit thing. What if I've purchased a mobile phone on credit? Still, the accounting equation is going to be the same. Asset is equal to liability. Now in this case, I will get the mobile phone as an asset of rupees 1,20,000. Okay, but I'm not making payment in cash. Never mind. My liability is going to increase by, since you are not making the payment today, but you will make the payment sometime in the future, right? You're not making the payment today, but you'll definitely make the payment sometime in the future. So there's going to be liability that you will have to satisfy. Okay, so the liability is going to arise by the same amount, 1,20,000. So the net effect is equal, and you can apply this concept in all the transaction. The accounting equation is always going to satisfy. The concept of dual nature of accountancy or double entry system that we're talking about is based on this concept. So it is always going to be satisfied. Okay, so this is the basic accounting equation. I hope it is clear up to this point. Now I'm going to talk up to you about these things in detail, that what are assets, what are liabilities, what is capital. We're going to identify all these things, and we're going to talk about all these things in detail. So please be patient. There's going to be a learning curve, of course. Please be patient. Yes, so when I'm talking about assets, what are assets? Whenever I talk about assets, what comes to your mind? So we can say assets are the valuable economic resources of an enterprise useful in its operation. Assets are the that are used by an enterprise to conduct their business. Okay, if I can do this, yes, I can do this. Okay, this is perfect. Okay, and I think I can write over here as well. Yes, I can write over here. Okay, perfect. Okay, are you guys getting what I'm trying to say? So assets and liabilities are going to be equal. Okay, that is clear. Now, what are assets? What are assets? So assets are the valuable. They should have some value. They should have some value. What this means is, if you want to go and sell it, if you want to go and sell it in the market, okay, you should be able to sell those assets because they have a buyer that is willing to purchase those assets, and that is only going to happen when the asset is going to have some value. And these are economic resources. They help us in building our economy. By economy, I means the business. Okay, these assets are helping me build my business. For example, if I'm a blogger, if I'm a Instagram social media influencer, okay, you must know all these people, right? So I'm using my mobile phone to take photos, okay, to reply to comments on my videos and all those things. So I'm using this mobile phone to conduct my business. So these are economic resources that are owned by me, okay, that are useful in the operation of the business. That are useful in the operation of the business. Now, if I talk about classification of assets, yes, of course, the assets can be classified into two parts, into two types. These are current asset and non-current assets. The two parts are current assets and non-current assets. Okay, is it clear? Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Okay, so the assets can be broadly be classified into two parts: current asset and non-current asset. It's very easy. Okay, very easy. Just be patient and understand. Okay, so current assets. Okay, so current assets are those assets which are held for a short period of time. What is current? Okay, whenever you see current doesn't mean anything in itself. We use it as a prefix. Current affairs, that is the news that keeps on changing. Okay, so current assets are the assets which keep on changing. That means they're not fixed, they keep on changing. Okay, they keep on flowing. The current that is flowing in the wires right now, current, okay, that is something that is flowing, that is called current. Okay, so current assets are those assets which are held for a short period of time and can be converted into cash within a year. Now you have to understand a very basic thing over here. Okay, so what the point here is that current assets are those assets which are converted into cash. Current assets are those assets which are converted into cash within 1 year. Or if I want to elaborate more and if I want to explain it in a better way, I can also say that current assets are those assets which are purchased with the intention of resale or converting them into cash within 1 year. Okay, I'll repeat myself. Please pay attention. It is very important. Current assets are those assets which are purchased with the intention of resale. For example, stock. For example, stock. I'll explain. See, I have a photo and everything. I'll explain. Just give me 1 second. These are purchased with the intention of resale within 1 year. For example, let's take an example. For example, you have purchased a car. Let's say which car you've purchased? Baleno. You purchase a car. So just tell me, okay, just assume that you have purchased a car and just tell me that do you think that when you purchase a car, you purchase a car with the intention of selling it in 1 year? Do you purchase a car? Do you purchase a house? Do you purchase a land with the intention of selling it in 1 year? I'm not saying that you cannot sell it in 1 year. Of course, it is your asset. You can sell it whenever you want. But I'm saying that the intention at the time of purchase was not resale, was not that I'm going to sell it in 1 year. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Okay, sir, we understand. Now, the example is stock. Stock is a very good example. So, whenever I purchase stock, so if you look at this photo that I've attached in this PPT, it shows a lot of things. See over here, this is the building. This is the building, and these food bags. Can you see these food bags? These food bags are is the stock. This is my stock, and this is my land. This is the land on which my factory or my building or my godown or my storage area is built. This is the building on the right hand side, and these food grains, these food items. Okay, this is my stock. So just assume and tell me, if you are the businessman, what are you going to think? Okay, I've purchased 100 ton of stock, I've purchased 100 ton of food grains, and I'm not going to sell them for 1 year. I'm going to sell them after 5 years. Is this how you think? No. Whenever you purchase a stock, what is your first objective? Your objective is that I want to convert this stock into cash as soon as possible. I'll realize the money and then I'll purchase more stock. And this is how the conversion, this is how the cycle is going to go on. That is called operating cycle. Okay, dear students, is it clear to everyone? So current assets are those assets which are purchased with the intention of resale or with the intention of converting them into cash within 1 year. Within 1 year. You will ask you, sir, why 1 year? Why not 2 years? See, whenever we prepare accounts, okay, we prepare accounts after 1 year. So in everything we have taken 1 year as the base. Ki 1 year or more than 1 year. That is the classification. You cannot say that 2 saal le lete. You could have taken 2 years. No, of course we could have taken 2 years. But see, whenever we are making the accounts, that is amicably decided that everybody is going to take 1 year, and every company is going to make the accounts after 1 year. So we take 1 year as base. Okay, guys. Now moving on, if I talk about if I talk about non-current asset, can you see this? Non-current asset. What are non-current asset? Sir, assets which are not purchased with the intention of resale. But if you have purchased a house in the home that you're living in, the house that you're living in, have you purchased the house with the intention of resale in 1 year? No. You have purchased that me, my generation, and the generation after that. Everybody is going to live in this house. That is the intention, that is the thought behind purchasing the asset. Am I wrong or am I right? No, sir. Okay. Whenever you purchase a machinery, whenever you purchase a car, whenever you purchase a furniture, you purchase it to use for a longer period of time. And I'll repeat myself. I'm not saying that you cannot sell it within 1 year. Of course, you can sell it. If but it is your asset. If you want, if you wish, you can definitely sell it within 1 year. Nobody's going to stop you. But the point of classification, but the parameter of classification is the intention at the time of purchase. Okay, I hope it is clear to everyone. So these are the assets which are held for a long period and used for normal business operation. The example are land, building, machinery, etc., etc. They are further classified. Now these non-current assets are further classified into two types, that is tangible and intangible. That is tangible and intangible. Okay, I'll talk about it in next slide. So okay, so I'm just going to revise once again. So basic accounting equation is asset is equal to liability plus capital. Now what are assets? Assets are the economic resources that have some value and that is owned by the business and that is used by the business to conduct the business smoothly. Okay, now these assets can be classified into two types, current assets and non-current assets. So current assets are those assets which are purchased with the intention of resale within 1 year. Example, stock, debtors. Now what is debtors? I'll explain in the coming slides. Non-current assets are those assets which are purchased with the intention of using them for a longer period of time and not the intention of selling them within 1 year. Example, land building. Now these assets are further classified into tangible assets. Now what are tangible assets? So better tangible assets are those assets which have some physical stimulus, which you can see, which you can touch. Those are tangible. For example, this mobile phone, I can touch it. This is a tangible asset. But okay, sir. So sir, there are all the assets that we can touch. No, but there are some assets that we cannot touch. For example, my knowledge. So my knowledge of accountancy, my way of explaining, my style of teaching, that is my asset. I'm using that technology, that resource or that skill that I have. I'm using that skill to earn my living, right? So that is called tangible assets. So tangible assets are those assets which don't have a physical stimulus, that you cannot see, that you cannot touch, but you know they're there. Okay, so tangible assets are those assets which have the physical stimulus, and intangible assets are those assets. If I misspoke, I'm just correcting myself. Intangible are assets which do not have physical stimulus, and tangible which have a physical stimulus. Okay, so you can see this photo. Okay, so the purpose of inserting so many photographs, it's taken me so much time, but the purpose of inserting all these photographs is so that whenever you are trying to recall, this image should pop in your head. Okay, that is the whole point. So as a photo, see the land, car, building, money. Money is not the perfect example. Let's say some, like your ancestral money or some your gold and everything, all those things. These are tangible assets. Okay. So what are intangible assets? Like I've already explained, my skill of accountancy, my knowledge of finance, these are my assets. I'm using these assets to make a living. Okay, so intangible assets are those assets which have no physical existence and can be felt by operation. So if I talk about the business point of view, for example, the brand value, whenever you see Apple on a device, on a mobile phone, on a tablet, on a laptop, you automatically assume that it is a good laptop. Okay, I'm not saying that others are bad, but I'm saying you'll assume that this is a good laptop. It's going to work well. It's not, it's going to be stable performance. goodwill, okay, patent, trademark, and copyright. All these are the intangible assets that the business uses to earn their living. Okay. Now, what are liabilities? See, can you see this photo? Okay. So liabilities are the obligation or debt. See, the B is silent. B is silent. So liabilities are the obligation or debt that an enterprise has to pay after some time in the future. Okay, you have to pay it now, but you have to pay after some time in the future. So liability can be classified as, okay. So same liabilities are also classified on the same grounds: current liabilities and non-current liabilities. Okay, so what are current liabilities? Current liabilities are the obligation or debt that are payable within 1 year. Same logic, same concept. The liability that you have to pay within 1 year is called a current liability, and non-current liabilities are the liabilities which you don't have to pay within 1 year. For example, a bank loan. So if you construct a house and you take a loan for, let's say, 25 lakhs, so you don't have to pay this loan within 1 year. All right, that duration is 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. That depends upon you. So this is a non-current liability. Just okay. Now, what are receipts? What are receipts? I'll give you an example. So, see, whenever you go and you deposit a fee, for example, let's say this is a college ka window. This is a window of the college, and students are queued up over here, and they are queued up to pay their fee. Okay, so this is they're going on, they're paying the fee and then going away. Okay, this is how it's going to work. This is a window. Okay, so what's going to happen is this student is going to go pay the fee, and the window is going to give him, and the person who's sitting here in the window is going to give him a receipt. You have seen it somewhere, right? It is a acknowledgement that okay, you have paid this much amount on this day. This is a receipt. It's pink color ka, it's a document. I hope all of you can understand a receipt. Okay, a P is silent. It's not receipt. It is receipt. Okay, receipt is a written acknowledgement of having received the amount. Okay, it is a written acknowledgement of having received the amount. Now, these can also be classified into revenue receipt and capital receipt. Revenue receipt and capital receipt. Now, I'll have to go back to this page because I have to explain it in a little bit of the detail. Okay, so if we talk about yes, receipt, it is classified into two types. Okay, revenue and capital. Before explaining this topic, I'll come back to this topic. I want to explain us something else. Please just pay attention. Okay, I want to give you an example to understand this topic. And see, this is very important. This is very crucial. If you are studying account for the first time, this is the thing up till now that can create a little bit of problem. So please pay attention. Okay. Okay then. See, when I'm talking about, let's take an example. Let's say there's a person, Mr. A, and he's a student, and he comes to the college every day, and he's very punctual. He wears the proper uniform, and he's absolutely perfect, and he studies very well. He's a very good student. So one day he came to the college, and this is me. Okay, and he came to the college, and I was very impressed by his work ethic and his culture, and his seriousness for the university, for the college. So I paid him 5 lakh rupees, as a gift, as a prize, as a reward. Okay, I hope you understand. Okay, so I've given him 5 lakh rupees. You must be thinking that 5 lakh rupees is too much. No, I'm rich. Okay, that is not a concern for me. Okay, so I've paid him 5 lakh rupees. Ki, Mr. A, you are a very good student. You are the ideal student. Please accept this as a token of reward, and this is a gift for you. You can do whatever you want with this money. So let's all assume that you are Mr. A. So what are you going to do with this money? So first of all, I'm going to purchase a bike. Okay, a motorcycle. You're going to purchase a bike. Let's say KTM Duke 250. But I don't know. Okay, let's just assume. Okay, everything is going on assumption. Okay, so don't say कि sir ऐसा कोई bike नहीं आता. ठीक है, so KTM Duke 250, and the price of this bike is, let's say, 2 lakh rupees. Okay, and you'll say, sir, I also need a good mobile phone. So you say कि okay sir, I'll purchase a mobile phone, iPhone 12. I'll purchase iPhone 12 for rupees 1 lakh. Okay, then you say ki, sir, I also want to go to a foreign land. Whenever I was, since I was born, I always wanted to go, you know, to outside India, and I wanted to visit some foreign land. Okay, sir, so I'll go on a tour of US. I'll go to US, and I'll, see what is about, what is the law about, and I'll go and have fun, and yes, and I'll spend 1,50,000 rupees on the US trip. I'll go and I'll spend 1,50,000 on US trip. And sir, since you are so being so nice, you have given me this amount, so I'll give you a lavish dinner. Okay, I'll throw a small party. Mr. says I'll throw a small party for all my classmates and my all faculty and my department, and that is going to cost me 50,000 rupees. And uh, this is the classification, and this is the distribution of 5 lakh rupees, and this is how I will spend the money. And Mr. A is like, okay, sir, I can spend. So this is how Mr. A spend his money. Okay, this is how Mr. A spend. Now, since he has a bike, he has a very good mobile phone, and he has been to US, so his performance started to decline. He starts skipping classes, and he was not attending the classes, and so I was very angry at him, and I was like, Mr. A, son, please return me the money. I was like, return the money. I was kidding, right? I was just kidding. You have to return the money. So Mr. is going to say, sir, but I don't have the money anymore. I've already spent the money. How can I return the money? I'm like, no, no, no. I don't know anything. You have to return the money. Okay. So Mr. A is going to be like, sir, okay, sir, fine. If you have to do this, it's okay. I have a bike that you can take. I have a mobile phone that you can take. I said, okay. So this is going to fetch me. How much was the value of the bike? Assuming no depreciation. We are assuming no depreciation. You don't think, sir, the value is going to depreciate. No, no. We are assuming no depreciation. So bike, I'll sell in the market for 2 lakh rupees. Mobile, I'll sell for 1 lakh rupees, and I will realize 3 lakh rupees. Okay. And I'm going to ask Mr. A, okay, I have 3 lakh rupees. What about the remaining 2 lakh? What about the remaining 2 lakh? Okay. So Mr. A is going to say, ki, sir, I cannot return the money because I went to US. I spent the money and it's gone now. I cannot return the money now. Okay. So Mr. A cannot return the money 150 that he spent on US and 50,000 that he spent on the dinner. Are you getting what I'm saying? Is the example clear? Now I'll come to the point, and now I'll explain what I wanted to explain with this example. So the point here is, whenever you spend some money, whenever there is outflow of funds, wherever there is some certain outflow of money, okay, outflow of money, there are two types of expense that can happen, or there are two type of outflows that is possible. Okay, and you see the nature of the both the expenses is not same, right? I've explained over here. The nature is not same. So whenever we are spending some money, there can be two cases. Either you will acquire any asset by bike, mobile phone, all these are assets. So either you will acquire any asset, or you will acquire, or you will enjoy some service. For example, if you're making the payment of rent, so you live in the house, you stay in the room, and you make the payment of rent. If you are living in the what do you say, if you're staying no if you're using the electricity, you'll pay the bill of electricity. All right, so there are certain things, the advantage or the benefit or the value that we want to derive with those things, they expire as soon as we make the payment, or they expire within 1 year. Yeah, by 1 year, yes, but we are going to take 1 year as base for everything. So we can clearly see that the nature of the two item is not same. All both these things, okay, like bike and mobile, these are assets, and they have some value. If need be, I can go to the market and I can sell these assets. I can realize this value. So the benefit or the value of these assets will be there for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, or let's say more than 1 year. If you purchase a bike, do you think the value of the bike is going to be zero after 1 year? No, sir. If you purchase a mobile phone, do you think the value of the mobile phone is going to be zero after 1 year? No. After 1 year, you can go to the market and you can sell these assets, and you can realize some value. On the other hand, you went to US. Can you go and sell this in the market? Is there somebody who's going to purchase this thing and give you some money? Let's say 1,000 rupees. No, because this has no value. The person who is purchasing this, he's not going to derive any value out of this. Okay. So what do I mean is that the nature of the expenditures are different. The nature of the expense is different. Nature is different. Okay. Some expenses are there whose value lasts for less than 1 year. Okay. And there are some expenses the value of which is for more than 1 year. है ना. एग्जाम्पल हो गया परचेज ऑफ एसेट. एग्जाम्पल परचेज ऑफ एसेट जो आपने खरीदा अभी बाइक कार एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. एंड दिस इज लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल पेमेंट ऑफ रेंट. ओके. पेमेंट फॉर इलेक्ट्रिसिटी. पेमेंट ऑफ सैलरी. भाई if you are making the payment of salary to someone, you have utilized the service, you have used the service, you have availed the service of that person, and now you are making the payment of salary. Okay. Is it clear to everyone? Okay, so nature is different, and that is why you see the nature is different. That is why we cannot club the two items in the same category. So for these items whose value is for more than 1 year, we make a statement that is called balance sheet. That is called balance sheet. What is P&L balance sheet? I've already explained. So now I am making you understand. Now I am linking everything together. So since the value is different, since the life is different, we are going to make a separate statement that is called balance sheet. And for these items, I'm going to make a separate statement that is called P&L account. Okay, I hope that is clear. So you can ask, sir, why are we making two statements, sir? Why are we making things difficult? We can just conclude it in one. No, better. Both the things cannot be presented in the same way. They cannot be put under the same bracket. Why? Because the nature is the basic essential nature is different. Okay, that is why I make two these things. Okay. So all the receipts that are related to these items are called capital receipts. Okay. And all the receipts that are related to this item is called revenue receipts. Okay, this is just one. This is the one definition of these revenue and capital. I'll explain it more. So when I talk about revenue receipts, okay, this was a separate topic that I wanted to conclude. Okay, this gets over. Now I'm coming back to revenue and capital, and then I'm going to link all the things together. So revenue receipts are those receipts. Okay, revenue receipts are those receipts which are directly related to the business. Matlab, you are receiving some funds, you are receiving some money by conducting the business. That is called revenue receipts. And capital receipts are which are not directly related to business. Okay, the receipts means you are receiving some funds. The funds that you are receiving by which are not related to business. And over here, revenue receipts are those receipts which are directly related to business. Okay, are you getting what I'm saying? Now you must say, sir, everything related to business. There is nothing like that. It's not related to business. No. I'll explain more in the next lecture. Please stay tuned. And thank you so much for joining in. And I'll see you guys in the next lecture. Please study well. And that is all. Thank you so much.